And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. And thanks to you, we're now at 401,000 subscribers. So we hit the mark. Let's get to 500 and let's get there quickly. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share because the stupidity, it's not stopping. Now, meanwhile, Trump, well, he was up early this morning spiraling about all the cover-ups that he is going on within his administration. And late last night, his reciprocal tariffs went into effect, and he celebrated it on Truth Social this morning. Let me show you what he said. In it, he writes, "Tariffs are flowing into the USA at levels not thought even possible." Sure, whatever you say. He also posted that Howard Lutnick is going to begin working on a new census, which I say is a bit suspicious timing, especially as Texas is trying to redistrict. Let me show you what he says there. In it, I have instructed our Department of Commerce to immediately begin work on a new and highly accurate census based on modern day facts and figures and, importantly, using the results and information gained from the presidential election of 2024. People who are in our country illegally will not be counted in the census. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Let me be very, very clear about something. I'm not really sure how job numbers or the census relates at all to the 2024 election. This is going to be one of the most non-accurate census that one could possibly imagine if it's going to be solely based off of Trump's 2024 electoral win. Well, at least you have Jesse Waters who supports the gerrymandering. Play the clip.
Katie, I believe we should just gerrymander the bejesus out of these maps and just destroy Democrat representation where we can.
Yeah.
And it's just, we're in a war now. We're in a war. Rules, right? They screwed around, and now they're about to find out.
What would this freakazoid say if hypothetically this was done under the Biden administration or it was done under the Obama administration? Could you imagine what this asshole would be screaming right now? They're destroying America's democratic republic. They're destroying our democracy. They are violating the Constitution. It's so amazing to me how they can turn around and flip the switch just like that, simply because the power sits within the Republican Party. It's why states like California have that gerrymandering as a bipartisan committee so that things like this don't happen. And this morning, Trump also posted about the CEO of Intel. Let me show you what he writes. In it, he writes, the CEO of Intel is highly conflicted and must resign immediately. There is no other solution to this problem. Thank you for your attention to this problem. I mean, now he's going after Intel? Why? What did Intel do to him? Well, let me show you an article from Bloomberg explaining the situation. In it, it turns around and it says, Trump urges Intel CEO to resign, calls him conflicted. And of course, he goes on to say this week, Republican Senator Tom Cotton asked the chairman of Intel's board to answer questions about Chief Executive Officer Lip-Bu-Tan's ties to China, including investments in the country's semiconductor companies and others with connections to the country's military. Further, it turns around and says the letter to Frank Yeary, who oversees the chipmaker's board of directors, Cotton asked about investments Tan made in China before he was picked to run Intel. Cotton noted specific concerns about Tan's ties to Cadence Design Systems, Inc., a tech company he led for over a decade, which sold products to a Chinese military university. Company pled guilty in July to violating U.S. export controls by selling hardware and software to China's National University of Defense Technology. Intel and Mr. Tan are deeply committed to the national security of the United States and the integrity of our role in the U.S. defense ecosystem, the company said in a statement on Wednesday. Intel said it would address the matters in the letter with the senator. Now, let me go on to say that all of this led Trump to worry about the CEO's conflict of interest. Let me ask you this question. What about Trump's own conflicts, like his crypto coins? What about Don Jr.'s new executive branch social club that deals with crypto, where the board member is actually the head of crypto here in the United States? What about all of the different, let's say, conflicts of interest from people who are in the administration that are right now making not millions, but billions of dollars? What about those conflicts? Now, let me be very clear about something. If Tan has ties to the Chinese military, has ties to Chinese government, absolutely. Kick his ass out, put somebody that has no ties at all, because to me, our national security, our national defense is paramount. Now, if you thought that that's weird, how about Apple's Tim Cook? Well, he was in the Oval Office yesterday, and he presented Trump with a gift. So either Cook knows just how easy it is to flatter Trump, or it's just an embarrassing move of bending the knee. Regardless, either way, it seems like it's a bit of a conflict of interest, don't you think? Play the clip.
Do you mind if I step up?
Yes, please.
This box was made here in the U.S., California, and this glass comes off the Corning line. It's engraved for President Trump. It's a unique unit of one. It was designed by a U.S. Marine Corps corporal, a former one, that works at Apple now.
That's good. He's done well.
Designed it for you. And the base comes from Utah and is 24 karat gold. And it sits, I'll take the liberty of setting it up.
Wow.
Well, let's see. There we go. Congratulations,
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
President.
It's
Thank you so
fantastic.
much.
The great people of Kentucky.
Congratulations, Mr. President. Here's a brick of gold. That's really what it is. The fuck is it? A piece of glass bent into a circle that's on a stand made of 24 karat gold? I mean, for God's sakes. And this shit's not even done in the shadows. This is done right in the open on television in the Oval Office with just tons and tons of reporters sitting there. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, the grift, again, it's not being hidden in the shadows. It is literally in your face. And you see Lutnick sitting there. He's like, well, where the fuck is my bar of gold? I mean, this is beyond ridiculous. And during that Oval Office meeting, Trump literally freaked out when he was asked a question by a reporter about Epstein, screaming again, calling it all a hoax. Play the clip.
Mr. President.
The two Kevins. It's very good.
Mr. President, is Vice President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw a reporter today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
On that, look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit. Okay?
Okay. Meanwhile, Trump may be melting down, but I'll tell you what, his pundits, they're there. They're there just to support him. Sean Duffy, as an example, he goes on and he says that Trump doesn't play by any rules. Yeah, that's true. But he also says that's what makes him great. Play the clip.
On stopping, we have to push forward. And what's great about Donald Trump is he doesn't live in a box. He doesn't have to play by any rules. He sees opportunity. He sees what America can do, and he goes for it. That's the kind of president he is. And so he's unleashed us to push this priority forward as opposed to out of the lab. Let's get into reality.
Okay, first of all, that doesn't make any sense. Let me explain why. It's one thing if you want to think out of the box You want to act any way that you want if it's your company. But somewhere along the line, Sean Duffy doesn't seem to understand. In fact, none of these enablers around Trump seem to understand that the president of the United States is elected to represent all Americans for the benefit of all Americans. And that doesn't mean you have to agree with his ideology, his policies, but he cannot act unilaterally. He cannot act as an authoritarian. There are three branches, co-equal branches of government. And for whatever the reason is, they have no respect for the other branches of government, our legislative branch, our judiciary, and they are breaking every single rule, every norm that this country has had for at least the past 250 years. Now, in another moment of delusion, Sean Duffy talks about his plan. And this has got to be one of the stupidest things that I've heard so far coming out of this administration. I mean, this is really not just stupid, it's dangerous. His plans to bring nuclear energy to the moon. Play the clip.
We do have some solar, but if you want sustainable life on the moon, you need an energy source. So we're going to bring fission to the moon's surface to power our base. It makes complete sense. Now, some might say, well, the launch is somewhat complicated, right? These are not active. They're not live. When we launch them into space, we can do it safely. By the way, we have submarines and aircraft carriers that operate on nuclear energy as well. But this is a key component. If we're going to get to the moon and then get to the Mars, we're going to have to figure this technology out. And again, we have to beat the Russians, the Chinese, I think, to get to the moon first. If you lead in space, you lead on Earth.
Okay, let me be very clear. I don't want to go to Mars, and I'm not even sure, neither are they, that Mars is even inhabitable by human life. So the hell are we doing? You're going to put a nuclear reactor on the moon? What happens if hypothetically something strikes it or there's a malfunction and it explodes? What if it cracks the fucking moon in half and sends the debris flying to Earth? They have no idea what they're playing with. You know what they're playing with? Human existence. Now, finally, I do want to end on one of the most delusional MAGA pundits of them all, Nancy Mace, who goes on and says that she is the most serious member of Congress. Can't make this stuff up. Play the clip.
I'm going to show you a couple of my plans because I don't want you to believe what the fake news is going to tell you, that Nancy Mace only does memes. Not to take her seriously when I am one of the most serious members of Congress. They don't like conservative women. They don't like it when women speak up. The left hate women. They want men in our bathrooms. We're going to stop that in South Carolina because on day one, if you give me a bathroom bill, state legislature, I will sign it into law. We're going to keep men out of women's spaces.
Democrats hate women. Somewhere along the line, it was the Republican-controlled Supreme Court of the United States that, remember, put forth the Dobbs decision overturning Roe versus Wade. Who really hates women? Republicans or Democrats? That's why I say subscribe, watch, comment, share. This stuff, it's not stopping. Not until we stop it. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.